Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel's Snap Zone. Today, we've got three great decks for you. We've got a Phoenix Force deck that is chilling in the top 10. No, it's not Jet's list. This is a different list. You can guess some of the cards in it based on the screen, but I think the Jet guide has taught me to play this better. I think this is an absolutely stellar deck that's way easier to play and can win a lot. We're going to talk about two other amazing decks, including your We Vote Wednesday pick and your Last Chance Proxima review. So let's get started with our format for the day. So the top 10 deck is Finn Snap's deck. Finn Snap is currently I think ranked exactly number 10. This deck has gotten up to number 7 on the Infinite leaderboard. Then we'll talk about our giveaway and our questions of the day. Then we've got our deck from Interrobang. Interrobang is a wonderful person and the basic leader of the Marvel Snap Twitter community. If you're interested, Interrobang has an amazing deck that absolutely stomps out Hela, so if you're still having trouble with Hela, this is the deck to use. We've got a Last Chance review for Proxima Midnight, and then we've got our We Vote Wednesday winner. It's a crystal deck from Amano. Amano is the Japanese player who is at the top of the Conquerors event and is a phenomenal player and very creative deck builder. We'll end as always with our shop and shoutouts. Actually, I'm not sure that's true. I think we're just going to do shoutouts, not shop today, because we're recording a little early so that I can go to the movies with my wife. You will get double shop next time, promise. All right, so Finn Snap's Phoenix Force deck is as follows. It is basically a deck that is doing what most Phoenix Force decks are doing. It's doubling up that torch and making it super huge so that you can Zola it to win the game. It's making multiple men go all over the board after Phoenix Force and winning the game that way, or it's going Shuri, Nimrod, and make that huge. You will do whichever game plan comes first, to be perfectly honest, but you are perfectly fine being patient. Multiple men is the most powerful thing you can do, one of the most powerful things in the game, so you want to wait for that. All right, so Ghost Spider or Nico can be Iron Fist, but it's hard to do without both. Nico in particular gives you the ability to have a lot of patience as you wait for the Destroy Draw 2. Destroy Draw 2 basically guarantees you one of your combos, which is hard to quantify. You obviously need Phoenix Force and Nimrod for this version of the deck. All right, so 67% win rate to number 7 on the Infinite leaderboard. It's currently ranked 10. I'm going to take this into an Infinite Conquest just so y'all know. So turn 1 is pass unless Nico is Destroy or Torch with Carnage and Phoenix Force already in hand. Turn 2, multiple man or Torch if Destroy and Phoenix Force. Now, this is important. If you don't have all of your pieces, you're trying to wait till turn 4 to do anything. Got it? What Jet taught us really, or what Jet taught us a billion things, right? But what Jet really taught me with Phoenix Force was to try to not commit to a plan until you're sure what you're doing. You can just fine, as long as you have Doctor Strange and Ghost Spider, wait until turn 4 to go multiple man and Carnage. And at that point, you can play Phoenix Force with a Ghost Spider on turn 5, and Doctor Strange, and moving those two Phoenix Forces on turn 6 is still likely enough to win the game. So you don't have to commit early. You can do a similar thing with Human Torch, but you have to be a little more careful because one of the ways you really win big with Human Torch is to Arnhem Zola it. So you need to be a little bit careful to make sure that you have enough moves to Zola it. You'd really like to get that Phoenix Force going by turn 4 to Zola it, and you want to keep one lane empty if possible while throwing priority unless they have a life, so that you can move Phoenix Force into that empty lane and Zola it from there. Be careful. That is the way you basically beat the Torch Tribunal decks, because you go so big. Sorry, not Torch Tribunal. The ongoing Tribunal decks and the Hela decks, because they don't run interaction and they go so big that they try to go so big that you can't interact, but you go so much bigger with the Human Torch that you can win. So try and know what your opponent's doing. Human Torch is really great for those matchups, obviously worse for your Sarah Control style matchups or your Destroy matchups where they're running Killmonger or the like. Of course, you can always just win those Sarah matches, those other types of matches with the Shuri and Nimrod. There is no answer for that in most decks. Shadow King is cut from almost everything. Shang-Chi obviously does nothing. Enchantress does nothing. Having 12 power Nimrods all over the place is usually enough power to win those games, and then you just roll. So the basic pattern, again, is to turn 3, either pass turn 4, Phoenix Force or Shuri. If you play Phoenix Force, you're moving on turn 5. And you're Nimrodding. If you play Shuri, you're Nimrodding on turn 5. Turn 6, Zola, or double eat on Nimrod. And that's it. That's the play. You can sometimes, if the matchup is unfavored, if you go Shuri, Nimrod, and then you only have Zola, You can Zola into that Shuri Nimrod. It's dangerous, but like, hey, sometimes it just wins the game, and that's worth it. All right, quick variant count. This is a very hip deck. We've got Carnage, Multiple Man, Venom, Deathlock, Shuri, Phoenix Force, Nimrod, and Zola. 8 is a beautiful number for hips. We've also got a Jacinto for Human Torch, and then we've got the double Peach Momoko of Ghost Spider and Doctor Strange, and then a lovely Nico to top the deck off. All right, we're giving away a bajillion season passes this season. Every video from the beginning of last week until the end of this week, until this coming Friday, every video's comments will have a season pass in them. One person who comments will get a season pass from each of those videos. So make sure you're subscribed. You hit like and comments on all those videos, including this one. As you do so, you're entered to win a season pass. We're also giving away 5 more season passes on Twitter. So make sure you check it out at SnapJudgeCast on Twitter, and it's linked in the description to this video. Hopefully you like that as well. We're trying to give back to the community. We just hit 9,000 subscribers. We know that it's easy to just click on the same 3 creators always and every day, and we're trying to spread the word about more creators and help ourselves grow in the process. So please offer us your support. It would mean a lot to us if you did so. Thank you very much. Pat J asks what character I'm most looking forward to having a card, data mines and not. So my data mine card, it's not data mine anymore, it's coming out. I'm exceedingly excited for Cannonball now that his text was changed. For those of you who don't know, he used to basically be Stegron. Now he's he always targets the highest power card in location, which means fundamentally if against Thanos, he's always going to hit Blob. But more than that, always being able to target the highest power card in an enemy location is extraordinarily strong. It's you're going to need priority, to not have priority like Shang-Chi, but if you can make this work, it's exceedingly strong. This feels Legion level of power, or damn close. Cannonball is one of my favorite characters. I love classic New Mutants. I love the recent, I think it was Ultimates, whatever, with Sunspot run, and I'm very happy for this run to happen as well. Also, great way to lose Prio, by the way, is to go Sunspot, pass on 5, and then She-Hulk and Cannonball on 6. I'm very excited to do a million cool things with Cannonball. There's no one else off the top of my head that I'm like exceedingly excited to see come to Marvel Snap. Like Legion is one of my favorite characters. Legion's in the game, Nightcrawler's in the game. I'm running through X-Men characters in my head and not really hitting any that I'm like super dying to have. So ultimately, I think I'm pretty happy. I wouldn't be against the different versions of Sinister coming to the game. We've got the like Dr. Stasis, and then the, oh god, her name's not going to come, Lady whatever her name is, from the current X-Men comics. I think those are really cool characters. I wouldn't mind Rasputin, the future Chimera of Sinister, coming to Marvel Snap. I think all those would be relatively cool. Fun Times Guy asked my favorite Hela deck. My favorite Hela deck has sort of never changed. It hasn't been the best Hela deck, I think, ever, but I auto-built a Black Knight deck, which means someone probably in Second Dinner made this Black Knight deck, because it's a Black Knight deck that also runs Hela and Apocalypse. I put Corvus and Proxima in it recently, and I've been playing it. I won an Infinity ticket with it. I've been winning a lot with it. It's one of my favorite decks. I think it's great. At some point, I'll cover it if it's got enough success to warrant it. Right now, it's just my own fun little brew. Again, this was a baseline of an auto deck builder. For those of you who don't know, auto deck builder just pulls from real people's decks. It's not actually creating anything itself. It's not AI. So yeah, there we go. SD Don't Be Evil wants to know the elevator pitch for my favorite unknown book. How to Invent Everything explains scientifically how to invent absolutely everything through human history while making you laugh and think the whole time. It's written by Ryan North, the current writer of the Fantastic Four, who's on an absolutely incredible run. He also wrote the wonderful, wonderful Unbeatable Squirrel Girl book. He's an unbelievable writer, and his book, How to Invent Everything, is literally a fake time machine manual that if you get stranded in history, it's how to build everything you need to restart society from that point. It is an absolute joy that changed the way I think about the world. It is worth reading. If you'd like your questions read out in tomorrow's video, leave one in the comments. All right, this is Interrobang. He calls this Kill Hela, because guess what it does? Absolutely kills Hela. You can kill Hela by goosing the right lane, right? You can go over the top of Hela with Iron Man. You can lock a lane with Professor X. You can lock 2 lanes with Goose and Mystique, or Professor X and Mystique. You can say, oh no, you got all your big stuff. Let's Valkyrie that away. Yeah, it's completely sick how many ways that this deck can win games of Snap. right, so this needs Swan and Cull and Ravonna. Nebula can be Electra. Electra would be for Black Knight. I think Electra's a better tech piece than people give it credit for because Black Knight is great. Check out twitch.tv/Interrobang for some great streaming. And note that he has an E at his name on both Twitter and Twitch. All right, so this won an Infinity border. It's also gotten a couple people to Infinite in my Twitter comments, so that's worth knowing. Again, this is Interrobang's deck originally. So if you see it, just know who it came from. Turn 1, Nebula over Sunspot. Turn 2, Ravonna over Goose is better than 1. Turn 3, Swan if you played Ravonna and have Professor X or Iron Man. Turn 4 is Ones and Professor X if you played Black Swan, which is just amazing. Or Ones and Iron Man. You can also play Cull just fine. Turn 5 is Iron Man or Mystique or Professor X if you had to. You can always Black Swan on 4 into Iron Man or, sorry, Professor X with a bunch of ones on turn 5. And then turn 6, you Valkyrie or Mystique on Iron Man or Mystique on Professor X. And then you win, and your opponent can do nothing. They're locked out of the game. It's exceedingly strong and very cool, worth playing around with. Quick variant count, we got Sunspot, Nebula, Titania, Goose, Ravonna, Iron Man, 5 hips. But we also have a, oh no, we're only at 1 Peach. We've got the Mystique Peach, we've got the Rian Valkyrie, and then we've got, unfortunately, a base Cull Obsidian, making me sad. Alright, next up we have our last chance review for Proxima Midnight. Proxima Midnight, if you somehow missed it, is a 4/7. When this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location. That isn't full. So I think this card is good, not great. Fundamentally, the problem is, most discard decks want to try and throw a location. This wins an occasional match because of extra power and because you're adding more power to that location later. But most decks are just kind of mediocre on this. They're mid on this because you're trying to throw a location and getting that 7 power into a location that you're trying to throw isn't ideal. I think this card changes entirely if we ever get the Meek, the 1/1 that discard payoff had the spoiled ability in an accidental patch that after you discard a card, it chooses what location to move. It gets Nightcrawler's ability. If Meek had that ability, then that could help you target where Proxima is, and all of a sudden this card is absolutely great. But right now, I think it's just good and sort of replaceable. If you're a discard main, if you absolutely love discard, I think this is worth getting, and if you're not, I think you should totally skip this. That's where I land on Proxima Midnight. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments, please. All right. Every Wednesday, we vote for a lesser played card to feature in a deck. I should probably edit this. It always says a card, lesser played card. Whatever. Our winner this week is Crystal. All right, this is Amano's Crystal deck. It is, as you can tell, a lockdown deck, not dissimilar from the previous deck, except this one is completely hilarious. This one really needs Professor X and Valkyrie to win. So because it needs those, it runs Crystal as a way to see these key cards. Cool. Let's go over how to play it. Oh, first replacements. Echo can be any good one. Electra, duh, or Sunspot work. Electra is also very good with Valkyrie. You may want Rogue or Enchantress if you're worried about or seeing a lot of ongoings. Ms. Marvel can be Omega Red. In this deck, you don't lose too much. You lose a bit, but not like a massive amount. This is crazy fun. I think this deck is an absolute blast. I think the last 2 decks are complete blasts. The first deck, obviously, I love Phoenix Force decks, but like these last 2 decks are absolute blasts to play and really strong. You just have to learn them. This feels like a learn whatever deck. Turn 1, Echo right or mid, Ant-Man or Hood right. Turn 2, Angela right. Mysterio, or is better than Mysterio, where the real one is not right, because you're going to make it 3 power anyway. Turn 3, Crystal, if you need Professor X or Valkyrie. If not, Mr. Fantastic is fine, but remember you're trying to throw priority, so don't go crazy here. You can always add Ghost if you want to make sure of that, but like you've got a Void and a Hood to help you lose priority, so you should be okay. Turn 4, Ms. Marvel or Sentry. If you have Valkyrie, you want to play Sentry. If you're going to Professor X on the right on turn 5, you don't want to play Sentry here. Turn 5, Professor X on top of your Sentry if you have Valkyrie. Or right if you got power there. So if you played like, I don't know, Ant-Man and Angela, and you have a Ms. Marvel out, or whatever, and you've got like an extra card there, right? And Crystal, they're all right. Then you drop Professor X there, and you've won that lane, and you're done. And then you Valkyrie right on Sentry. You'd Valkyrie on right, or the Void after Professor X right. Cool. Sorry. Let's explain that again. I said that wrong. Your job is to Valkyrie on right if you've got the Void there. Or if you played Professor X right, now you've got that lane protected for Sentry, and you can drop like a Sentry and Hood and win the game that way to end the game. All right. quick variant look. This is a much less hip deck. We're very sad. We've in fact only got 3. We got Ant-Man, we got Mysterio, and we got Crystal. We do have, and Ms. Marvel. 4. So at least we're at the baseline. We've got the cool Baby Professor X, which remains my favorite. I threw Kid Maximus in because we have Baby Professor X, so they can be buds. We got a Peach Momoko for Echo. And then Rion Valkyrie, and then Jacinto for Sentry. My still favorite Mr. Fantastic. They should really release a Mr. Fantastic I like more. There is one Data Mine, Noir Hood, and then another baby, Angela, because this one's scarf looks amazing. Oh, nothing. That's it. We're going to do Patreon thanks. I told you we weren't doing our shop today. Our Patreon thanks, and then we're done. So, certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. We've got Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, DJ Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Father Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jay Navarrete, J.D. McDonaldinho, Akela Platano, Kertix Lee, Koire, Doku, Philip Ratkovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Rob Silverman, Robert River, and The Bizza, J Bussy, X-Force V, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Models, Louis Antunes, Matt Conduit, Matt H, Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ike Alaris, Pretty Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, Two Ties, the Pirate King Tucker, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. We'll be back tomorrow with a giant look at the new season. We're going to cover not only every Spotlight Cache, but also Pixie and Hope Summers. We've got a absolute plethora of decks for these cards. Hit that sub button if you would like to compete in some really cool tournaments and get some really cool extra stuff. Check out our Patreon. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. See you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace, y'all.